So I asked ChatGPT for one subject I could talk about, the car. The thing is, every time I've asked it to do, both Gemini and ChatGPT, they always say the differences between modern technology and current technology, or something on the lines of technology all the time. It's quite frustrating, actually, and they need to give me some other subjects so they're not being totally unbiased. It's not a totally random subject. It's like, talk about the idea that modern technology has made people more connected but less emotionally close. You could explore things like how people can message anyone instantly but still feel lonely, whether social media creates performance instead of real connection, why many people are afraid to talk honestly face to face, whether AI, phones and endless scrolling are replacing community, if younger generations are losing social confidence, whether technology helps isolated people or traps them further, your own experiences travelling alone, filming videos alone or communicating online. This subject suits your reflective style and it gives you room for personal thoughts, observations from daily life and broader societal ideas without needing heavy preparation. Thoughts. I believe that the problems people say that are there, like scrolling, is causing too many problems in society. I think it's a bit overhyped. I think there's less problems there than people are willing to admit. I think there's a lot of SJWs, social justice warriors who want to always be fighting for some sort of social justice. And there's a lot of people like that in society who always want to be fighting for something. And social media tends to be a very easy target. Like motorists are an easy target. Yeah, I think social media is another one of these easy targets where people attack, and there's less arguments against it than they make there is. I mean, one of the problems, endless scrolling. I mean, I do this a lot. And I've seen my mother. My mother is worse. My mother is really addicted to endless scrolling. I think a lot of people would understand that their parents don't think there's anything on internet or online outside of Facebook. My mother has no concept of anything other than Facebook. And even then, it's only through the app. And I think there's a lot of people who realise that it's only through the app. And I think the younger generations are going to be the same. I think it's only my generation, maybe a little bit younger as well, who are going to realise that there's more to being online in an online universe than just one social media platform. So I think the younger kids have got things like TikTok or... I think TikTok is a big thing. TikTok's not bad. I didn't like TikTok at first, and it's actually, I use TikTok every day, but I don't scroll on there forever. I don't. Yeah, like I was saying, there's my mother doesn't believe that there's any internets outside of the Facebook app. My mother doesn't understand that there is anything outside of the Facebook app. I've tried to do things, tried to talk to mum, even show my mother. Actually, no, my mother's started using a different platform. She got Shein, one of these Chinese international shipping cheap goods. And my mother uses Shein as well. Oh, what other things are in the how people can message anyone instantly but still feel lonely. Yeah, it's about what you're going to talk about, because although you can message and you have a different level of openness when you're messaging by text than when you're messaging or talking with someone in real life. Now, I think for a lot of people, you can actually say more and be a bit more open in text than you can in a conversation. Especially if you're having a conversation in public, then you can't be as open. There might be more restrictions if if you are in public. And you can only be more open and honest with someone if you know them really well and you can trust them well. And even before social media, it's difficult to get to know someone well and trust someone well. So in that regard, I believe you can be more open and honest in text, and you can actually be more clear. But at the same time, there is studies that say, I can't reference anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are studies that say there's only about 30% of the information you try to communicate via text actually gets communicated to the person you're talking to. Maybe it all cancels itself out. Maybe it is a net negative, communicating by text rather than communicating by speech. But I think that it isn't. My initial thought is it isn't. But then it could be down to the sort of person as well. You've got extroverts and introverts. Right. What's the other point that was raised? Whether social media creates performance instead of real connection. Yes. It depends on the platform. Because people are often competing with other people to show how they're better than other people. Has the rain stopped? I guess that's definitely a thing with YouTube. Though I try to think that I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to talk normally. But if I on my videos 10 years ago, if I had the confidence to actually go on videos and do face-to-camera videos 10 years ago, I would have been totally different. And actually been trying to promote myself and make other people think that I'm better than everyone else. But when reality is, I'm not. But I think there's more pressure on younger people. There's more pressure on younger people to perform and to seem like they're good. I always question myself, and I'm comparing myself to a lot of others. Maybe I still do it. No, you compare yourself to other people and think, I'm trying to be better than other people, or maybe performing. Yeah, but I did mention that there's different platforms. You have different sorts of performances on different platforms. It's like Facebook. Facebook is very much for family and friends. And I've noticed there's far more of a response if you posted, say, pictures of your family or going on a day out with your family. Whereas if you post a picture of yourself going on an adventure, people don't really care that much. Now, if you do Reddit in the right groups, then it's totally different. It's a totally different platform. If you do, like LinkedIn is very career focused, and X or Twitter used to be very, very self. About this is something that I'm doing right now. But Facebook, they don't really accept. I find with Facebook, they don't really accept this something you're doing. It has to be something that's family related or very humanities related. So these different platforms are sort of specialised in different areas. Whether that's a positive or negative thing. Because we're talking about performance. Is there more emphasis on performing? Well, by performing, I think it means that you're not being realistic, not being genuine. I think there is some people maybe who are more genuine on camera, but there's a lot of people who are performing and acting on camera. I'm not moving my arms right. It's a warm day. That's my excuse. It's a warm day. See, that's the thing, because I've been listening to Vin Jian about how to perform better on camera. Look at the camera and move your arms and talk slower and use more exaggerated mouth movements to try and make yourself more clear and that. So this is all all going towards more performance rather than genuine connection, isn't it? But I think his work doesn't, his teachings only work for certain sorts of speeches, because he does mention about how practicing doing speeches several times, because I think he's more guided towards, or his teachings are more towards getting someone to do like a TED talk sort of thing, where you a presentation. His teachings are more towards giving presentations rather than being genuine and honest. Yeah, I'm talking about Vinjian now. And I'm sure there's other people who probably got similar sort of teachings. But they're very skilled, but I think they're geared towards helping people give presentations. So what else have we got? I'm out of coffee. Coffee. We're doing coffee. I'm not going to put this. No. If I just put it up there. Why many people are afraid to talk honestly face to face. This is one of the reasons. The reasons why the list of things I said which are wrong with the world, which is the reason why I made this channel, is this isn't to do with social media. It says why things you explore is why. Where is it? Why many people are afraid to talk honestly face to face. This is less to do with social media. This is more to do with being judged and misunderstood. Because it's incredibly frustrating when you're misunderstood face to face, and then the person you're talking to take things the wrong way, and then suddenly you can't change their minds no matter what you do. Even if you say that their interpretation is wrong, that's not what you're trying to say. It's from my experience, they will automatically assume their belief is right and you're wrong, even if you're the one trying to explain your situation, your beliefs, or your problems, or whatever. You're trying to be open and honest. You're trying to talk about your emotions or something. Some other people, it's a good chance other people will take things the wrong way, and I think a lot of people have got that sort of experience. So that's why people are afraid to talk face to face, and the person you're talking to can take things negatively in a very extreme way. Anyway, my father's coming back, so I gotta stop. I won't stop. I'll fade it out and see if Dad comes in and chats. I was talking about social media and is it a bad thing or a good thing? I know are people spending more time online and.
Some parts of it are good, some parts of it are bad. Yeah, you don't know what's you get what they call it.
Well, my argument is I think a lot of people try to make out that things are worse than they are, like it's going to destroy society or anything. I don't think that's true, and I don't think it's true to the extent as some people claim it is. I think there's a lot of positives to social media.
Yeah, it's good and bad, innit? It's just...
Like, do you think it's better talking face to face or talking through text? That was one of the questions. It's like talking through texts, I think you can spend more time to formulate a response. As long as the person you're talking to has got the patience to do that. Whereas you're forced to perform and give an instant response when you're face to face, and it might not be possible to do that. Maybe you need more information. Maybe you need more time to try and recall more information in your responses. You got any thoughts? Because I don't think social media is destroying society the way that some people makes it out to be, and it brings a lot of people closer together. Actually, Because there's people who are posting things on social media who maybe have problems talking in real life. So it's not.
You can't send information to the wrong people. So
I know. A lot of people take things the wrong way as well.
Be careful with it. You
Yeah.
just got to be a bit savvy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you can accidentally dox yourself, can't you?
Because it's like Big Brother. There's Big Brothers watching you, isn't it?
Yeah. You always takes like someone can take something the wrong way, and then suddenly you're hated. You're cancelled by society, and then suddenly everywhere you go, people are causing you problems, even though you might not have done anything wrong. It's just someone's made a claim against you, and maybe they're a more believable person.
People could say hurtful things.
Yeah, and then society all reacts to it in a negative way, and then suddenly everyone's against you, and you may not have done anything wrong. I mean, this is one of the arguments. I think society will benefit overall if people are more able to be open and honest about their thoughts and feelings without being ostracised and without being criticised, or without people having extreme negative reactions.
Yeah.
It's okay to believe something different to your own beliefs. It's okay to have someone who believes something different to yourself. Disconnect between people being online and talking face to face.
On the news about teenagers, they just
things like Tide Pods, where you have one influencer says something really stupid and everyone just tries to emulate it. I got my antacids and I got some cat food as well. Do you want to see the cat food she has? It's cat food she has. It's cat food. Yeah, another advantage of doing face-to-face talks is, like my traction pachinko, you maximise the interactions with someone, which you can't get through text. And so my attraction pachinko is, you can imagine a ball going down a pachinko, a set of pins. And each pin is an interaction, and the ball can be deflected towards your beliefs, ideals and values, or away from your beliefs, ideals and values. Of course, each one of these interactions can be misinterpreted, but when you're face-to-face with someone actually having a conversation, then you are maximising these interactions, and just sending text is you're not getting as many of these interactions in, and so that can skew the communication, I guess, between two people. So I think there's enough advantages and disadvantages between, say, text communication and face-to-face communication that not one is better than the other. Like in face-to-face communication, I know personally, I find myself pressured to respond quickly. And that's when I make mistakes. Can you hear these birds? What bird is that? I mean, through text you have a more controlled environment, haven't you? But then you don't know what sort of environment the person reading the text is in. I mean, I'm just thinking about me now. I mean, I want to park the car at a place where there's not so much noise around and not so much other people around. I mean, I want to have the windows open so that it's a bit cool in, because it is summer, and even though it's a bit overcast and a bit of a hazy day, it's very warm in the car. What's the next question anyway? So let's move on to something else, right? Whether AI, phones and endless scrolling are replacing community. I don't know. There's a community group for my town. on Facebook, and a lot of people post on there. They posting things people have lost, people have found, and there's things people are offering. Rather than destroying community, I think it's the opposite. I think it's bringing a lot of people in the town together. There's car crime, for instance. There's a lot of car crime in my town, and one person posts something, another person says, "Oh well, I got doorbell cam footage and from the street," and then it's bringing people in the community together rather than taking them apart. It's not necessarily. It depends how it's used, and different communities use social media in different ways. AI phones and endless scrolling. AI, we can. That's a different argument. A majority of people, even social media users, a majority of people have no idea what AI services are and don't use them. I've talked with a lot of people, even people who are skilled, even people who know what they're talking about, and basically they don't use it. They don't use it. And they have no interest in using it either. Like I was talking about my mother using Facebook and not realising there's any other internet services outside of Facebook. And I think a majority, we're talking about more than 80% of internet users are like that. But we're meant to be talking about social media. Meant to be talking about social media. And how do we get into this subject? AI. Yeah, majority of internet users don't care. Not interested. There's a lot of business users, which a lot of businesses are investing in AI, and they want AI services. Because they want to try and maximize their revenue. They thought, oh, if we give AI services to all our employees, maybe they can increase their value per employee. But I think a majority of employees are not going to use it. I mean, I like AI. What do I mean, I'm going to have to say why I use AI. In different ways I use AI, aren't I? In order to be open and honest. I use it for give me a subject to talk about in a video. So that's one way I use it. What I do is I have downloaded the Whisper. Yeah, I have downloaded OpenAI's Whisper model, and I use that with my own Python script. I wrote my own Python script, albeit I vibe coded a little bit just to make sure I can communicate with the model. What Whisper does, OpenAI's Whisper, which is free to use, it's available to anyone, is you can give it an audio feed or a video, and it transcribes it, and that's it. It just transcribes it. There's different levels of the model because I don't have a huge amount of VRAM in my machine, so I have to use the medium model. But there's a high and ultra model, I believe, which can just give you a more accurate transcription. And then what I do is I take that transcription, and I've got a folder of work on ChatGPT. And then what I'll do is paste the transcription into ChatGPT, and I ask it, can you give me a summary of the subjects I talk about in this video? And it'll list me, do a bulleted list of the subjects I talk about in the video. You see, and then I can use that list to write my own titles and descriptions for the videos on YouTube. Also, it gives me ideas for thumbnails. So that's just one way I use AI. So I've got a local service which is using Whisper on my own machine. It runs on my own machine, and paste the transcript into ChatGPT and ask it to give me a summary of everything I've talked about in the video. So that's a very good thing. So no, it's not impossible to do these sort of things without AI. It's just something I can do quickly and easily, and just easily see things I've talked about in a video. When deep research is good. Deep research is good. I mean, Gemini used to have a deep research feature where it'll actually output a Google Documents straight into your Google Documents service, into the straight give you a document, where it does a deep dive into a subject you talk about. There's a story on Reddit about a US Air Force C-130, an LC-130, the one for the cold weather, and with the skis on it, the skis and the JATO bottles on the sides, and it had a crash, had a takeoff accident, where one of the engines was destroyed on a takeoff accident in Antarctica. And this was posted to Reddit. And someone said, the aircraft was buried for 10 years, buried under snow and ice for 10 years, and crews went there, dug it out, repaired it, and flew it back home. Flew it back, repaired it, and brought it back into service. And I thought, that sounds like... What words can I use that's safe for YouTube? That sounds like poop. That sounds like poop. That doesn't sound real. I don't believe that happened. Right, Gemini. I know you got this. I did this when Gemini still had this feature. They've taken this feature away now. I asked it, do some deep research. Give me all the references you can, realistic references, and give me research and spit out this document to prove or deny whether this actually happened. Turns out it's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. There was a C-130 that had an accident. What happened was one of the JATO bottles came loose, the jet-assisted rocket takeoff, and the JATO bottles, and it came loose. It broke away, hit one of the engines, destroyed the engine. Prop came off, and the aircraft didn't do a takeoff run, so it came to rest. And the crews got out. They were rescued by another aircraft, I believe. And this C-130 was just left there in the middle of Antarctica. And over time, it got buried in snow. Compacted in snow and ice. And later, people went and inspected the aircraft, and they found they was given the go-ahead to try and repair it and bring it back into service. So they replaced the engine in the field. And actually, there was a second C-130 having a crash. There's someone, I believe, actually, there was a fatal crash, actually bringing crews and equipment to repair this other one. And then it was flown out. It was flown to one of the Antarctica stations to have more deep service. And then it was taken back to the States and fully repaired. And this aircraft is now in the boneyard in Arizona or Nevada or somewhere, one of the boneyards. And I'm sure it'll go into a museum one day. So this aircraft is real. This LC-130 is real. It was buried for more than 10 years under snow and ice. I wouldn't have found out. I could have just easily scrolled on further saying, it's not real. Anyway. We're going on about AI. We're going on a bit about AI. I suppose there's a lot of other things, aren't there? There's a lot of other things. I suppose for every story like that is real on social media, there's a story that isn't real on social media, because there is a lot of AI-generated poop on social media, which is totally wrong. Maybe I just scroll past it. But no, things are getting better all the time. Maybe I could accidentally believe something. But I know I see my mother seeing posts on Facebook. My mother seems to believe a lot of things she sees on Facebook. And my mother believes a lot of things. A lot of AI generated stuff that isn't real. My mother and a lot of people, in fact, wouldn't have the interest in looking something up to see if the facts being presented are real or not. I used to know some people. I used to know co-workers. It's the same two co-workers that caused me a problem, but they used to go on about conspiracy theories, and they used to believe all sorts of wild stuff that was totally wrong. Or too unrealistic to be wrong, or at least there's not enough evidence to prove they're aliens and government conspiracies. That's another whole video, actually, government conspiracies, which I've been tempted to make, and I've been tempted to make. There's a whole other government secrecies. Because being the aviation enthusiast, there's stuff that's come out over time that we know that has been released, that the governments do have secrets. But a lot of the people who believe in conspiracies and government secrets, they have an unrealistic view of what secrets governments are keeping. But that's a video for another time. I want to make that video as a whole separate video. In fact, that video could go on the aviation channel. And see, I'm tempted to see this is maybe it's an ASD thing now. I want to back up that statement. Like, for instance, F-117s and B-2s, for instance, the F-117 and B-2 aircraft, they were originally secret. It wasn't until many years, they'd been in service for many years, till the public found out about them, for example. And of course, we have the damaged tail section of that stealth modified Black Hawk, for instance. We know that's real because that piece of wreckage exists and there are pictures of it and witnesses. So we know that piece of wreckage exists of an aircraft which you'll never find in aircraft recognition books because the public haven't seen it. I mean, I haven't seen it. No one's seen it. Although there was a Reddit post for it from many years ago that actually showed there was someone who had actually worked on a stealth Black Hawk, but their research was cancelled. And there are pictures of a prototype stealth Black Hawk, but it's very, very haphazardly put together. And so their research was taken away from this, and their project was closed down. And then we assumed that would be the end of that was the end of it sometime in the early 80s. But we know that actual in-service stealth-modified Black Hawks exists, so we know that now. So that proves that there are government secrets and conspiracies, but there's no alien technology, there's no lizard overlords, that sort of thing is just silly and stupid. But that's a video for another time. But I have known people who believe that emphatically. And quite honestly, I'm glad I don't know those two anymore. Right, where were we? Getting off on a tangent now, and I didn't putting people off. This could be an hour-long video. Wasn't meant to be an. If younger generations are losing social confidence, right? We could explore if younger generations are losing social confidence. I hope they are losing social confidence, because the amount of bullying and bad experiences I've had in social situations when I was younger, I would rather see more younger generations communicating through social media or through text or services like that. I mean, I kind of wish we still had IRC and Usenet, to be honest. Which IRC and Usenet, well, it was a more free and open platform than what we got now through curated social media like Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and whatever. But you don't have as much freedom as you used to. And I think that's another part of the argument, because we're relying on services that you don't own and don't have. They are curated services. I don't want to mention which social network or which platforms, but I'm on a number of groups on Reddit for different platforms, and there's a number of platforms where people have had AI terminate their accounts for lots of wild reasons and inaccurate reasons, and people are really refuting it, but they can't refute it. They'd have because the AI has just said no. They can't have their account anymore. And AI is taking over all the support for these social networks. So you're not totally speaking, they're not getting their accounts back, even though they've done nothing wrong. So I think maybe the world would have been better if we had more IRC and more Usenets or more BBS groups, bulletin board systems, which are run on websites or people's local machines. Indeed, it could be these curated social media platforms. It's causing more of a problem. Could be causing more of a problem than making it better. But I do believe that a lot of the negative hype over social media is a bit, it's unrealistic, isn't it? I don't think there's as many problems as people say there is, though there are problems. I'm not being clear. I'm not being clear am I? If the younger generations are losing social confidence. To be honest, I don't like extroverts. I'm not comfortable around with them, and I think, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Meeting in a controlled or comfortable environment where you're sat in your own home or somewhere, maybe a good thing. I wonder if there's many Zoom and Teams calls which is just social rather than business. I don't think there's going to be many, but there's got to be some people who do Teams. I mean, we do video calls from the phone now, don't we? See, Zoom or Teams even could pivot to be a more social thing, couldn't they? Oh yeah, they could have done that in COVID, in lockdowns. But no, they seem to stick strictly to business, didn't they? Right, what's the next thing on the list? Whether technology helps isolated people or traps them further. Yeah, it definitely helps isolated people. There's a lot of people who can't get out, maybe due to disability, who suddenly have a voice. Maybe they can't speak. Maybe their mental disability means they struggle to communicate in real life, and suddenly through text or through social media they have a voice. They can put their own opinions across, and so there is that aspect. And you can communicate with anyone, and you can communicate with other people. And you can communicate your wants, your needs. Of course, you run the risk of misinterpretation, but we've been over that. You could explore things like your own experiences travelling alone, filming videos alone, or communicating online. So I travel alone, so I don't have to worry about anyone else. I just have to worry about my own things. I guess there's less stress travelling alone. And I can plan everything out to my own... I can plan things for my own needs, couldn't I? Yeah, my own experiences communicating online. I mean, I've been welcomed into several communities online. I mean, I regularly post to Forever Alone groups, other people who have never experienced romantic relationships, and I've been interacting on those groups for 10 years now, and offering encouragement, which has found a community which I wouldn't be able to find in real life. I wouldn't be able to find other Forever Alone communities in real life, because they don't exist, because we're the sort of people who are ostracized from society, and society doesn't want people who haven't experienced relationships before to exist, do they? We are ostracized from society. And I'm finding other people like that on these social media platforms, which is a good thing because it's found a community which I wouldn't have found otherwise. There's a lot of gatekeeping on that community, but I think that's a community where the gatekeeping is justified because people coming in saying, "Oh, I'm forever alone, but I was divorced 3 years ago." Well, you're not forever alone then, are you? And so there's a lot of gatekeeping, but it's a justified gatekeeping. Right, filming videos alone. Well, I've had my parents in the car, but my parents would rather not be on video. They would rather not be on video. And when I do the walking videos or the driving videos, it's better if it's just me in the car as well, isn't it? But that has nothing to do with negative consequences of social media at all, does it? But doing these videos, the talk videos in the car, this is other people's attraction pachinko. It means I am going through other people's attraction pachinko, and maybe a lot of my beliefs and a lot of my values maybe align with someone out there who's watching these videos. So I think that with that argument, it should be encouraged to put yourself on social media. Now, my father was raising the point earlier because I was talking to my father about it. There's a lot of negative. People can. Yeah, at the same time, people can misinterpret what you're saying and be actively negative or against your ideals and values. I mean, it'd be wrong of me to say that things like racism don't exist. It does exist online. It'd be wrong, and there are people who are violently and emphatically both left-wing and right-wing on both sides as well. And you upset one of those groups and suddenly it can cause you a lot of problems online. And so I can understand people's reluctance to put themselves out there, put themselves online, or make any claims because you just accidentally, maybe not intentionally, but accidentally step on someone's toes, and then suddenly 1.5 million people around the world hate you, and they're doing lots of things against you, from reporting you for false things on social media, and then you're being banned by the AI moderators on these social media platforms, and you may have done nothing wrong. You just happen to accidentally offend someone just by saying something. This goes back to my things which are wrong in the world. You need to be free to be open and honest about your beliefs, ideals, and values. Anyway, there's executive taxi is just parked across from me, so I may have to stop talking now. Anyway, I've been at this long enough, so I think it's time to go back. This subject suits your reflective style, and it gives you room to personal thoughts, observations from daily life and broad societal ideas without needing heavy preparation. Anyway, I'm going to go back. Sorry, the driver of this Merc has just walked into the trees. I think he's having a pee without washing. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. All right, time to go.